Hi, welcome to Circle Time today. Our letter for the day is the letter Z. Now, yesterday we did the letter Y, and Y, the uppercase and the lowercase, were so different. But today, look at Z. Both are the same, one's just bigger than the other. So let's start with the uppercase Z. Let's try to write it. Now, when I try to write the letters, I like to say something that helps me to remember how they're formed. And so for letter Z, I always say zig, zag, zig. So can you zigzag, zig, and write an uppercase letter Z? Now, let me tell you something that I've noticed through the years with my students. They sometimes want to zig the wrong way, so make sure you're zigging to the right. The hand that you write with, most of us write with our right hands. That's the way you need to zig, unless you're left-handed, and then that might be a little different. But so try to think about zigging to the side that you write with. Zig, zag, zig. There you go. That's the uppercase letter Z. We'll write it on the handwriting house. We're going to start at the top, and then we're going to just trace down or trace across the top line. And then we're just going to slide down and then trace across the bottom line. So let me pull up the handwriting house so you can see it too. Here it comes. Okay, so let's zig, zag, zig. Here we go. Zig, zag, zig. Can you try? Trace, slide, trace. This is the uppercase letter Z. Zig, zag, zig. Zig, zag, zig. I'll do two more while maybe you're practicing too and you need the time. So there is the uppercase letter Z, and now we're going to try to write the lowercase z. Okay, so lowercase z looks exactly the same, it's just smaller. So we're just gonna zig, zag, zig a little bit smaller. On the handwriting house, the lowercase z is downstairs. So let me show us how that looks. Okay, we're gonna go zigzag, zigging downstairs. Zig, zag, zig. Zig, zag, zig. Gonna trace, slide, and trace. Zig, zag, zig. Okay, this is the lowercase z, and now I want to talk about what z sounds like. Oh, but before I do, let me take care of this b in here. There's a b in here. Oh, I don't like bees, especially not in my room. Zzz, do you hear the bee? That's what z sounds like. There's not really a bee in here, but that is what z sounds like. Zzz, like a bee. Can you try? Zzz, go away, bee. That's what letter Z says. Z says zzz. And we're going to talk about something else that flies today, but it's not a bee. We're going to talk about a superhero named Zero the Hero. Z is for zero. You know, we often think that zero is not a very important number, but it is. We're going to find that out today. Z is for Zero the Hero. Zero is so important. We used it today on our calendar. There's 30 with a zero right beside it. And take a look. I can find 20. There's another zero and 10. Zeros are pretty important. We use them all the time. I'm going to do a little number activity with us now, and I'm going to use something that's called the tens frame. We'll use that from time to time. This is a tens frame. Let me move the dots for just a moment and talk about it. A tens frame is just kind of like a chart that has 10 blank spaces. Let's see if there are 10. See if I'm right. 10 blank spaces. 1, 2, 3. You want to help me count? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 blank spaces. This is called a tens frame. And we can use this in a lot of ways. Let me move these dots off too for just a second. We'll do some counting. All right, so if I have tens frame up here, and I fill in the top part of it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots. So there are 5 dots on top. How many dots do you think it will take to fill up the bottom part of this tens frame? Do you think it will take 5 more? So 5 and another 5 makes 10. Let's see if we're right. Now we already have 5, so we're just going to count on and keep going and see if this is 10. So 5, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're right. So 5 and then the other 5 made 10. So let me ask you this question. How many tens frames do you see here? I've circled them. How many tens frames are right here filled up? One tens frame. Well, did you know that if I put 0 the hero right here behind it, this number is 10. So one tens frame, all filled up, is 10 dots. That's how many all together. Okay, let's do another one. Let's look down at the bottom. I see another tens frame. If there are 10 dots here, how many dots do you think it will take to fill up this tens frame? Well, there were 10 up top. Do you think it will take another 10? Let's count and find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There was another 10. So now let's look at this. We said that this was one tens frame. We put a 0 the hero, so we knew that there were 10 dots here. How many tens frames can you see all together on this page? 1, 2. So there's 1 and 2. What if we put 0 the hero behind each of these numbers? How many total dots are on this page? We can count by tens to find out. 10, 20. There are 20 dots on the page. There are 2 tens, and that makes 20 altogether. Okay, so that was just a fun way that we used the tens frame. We'll use that again another day. Let's talk now about shapes. We've been working on 3D shapes, and I have a fun game for us. It's a spinny game. We're going to spin, and I want you to tell me what shape that I land on, okay? So here we go. Spin. What shape did I land on? It looks kind of like an ice cream. It's a cone. Remember that one? It's a cone. So I have a fun worksheet I want to show you. Can you see if you can pick out all the cones? Remember, it kind of looks like an ice cream cone or party hat. Good. There's a cone. Can you find another cone? Looks like this. There's a cone. There's a party hat. That's a cone. And I see a traffic cone. Nice job finding all the cones. Let's spin again. Oh, let's see. What shape is this? It looks like a can of soda. It's a cylinder. Can you find all the cylinders on the worksheet? I'll circle them. You point and I'll circle them. Where are the cylinders? Cylinders, there's a Play-Doh can. That's a cylinder. And there's a soda can. Can you find another cylinder? Looks like this. I'll draw an arrow so you can see. There's one. The candle is a cylinder. And so is the juice glass and the cup. Nice job finding all the cylinders. Let's spin again. Okay, what shape is this? Before you say circle, let me remind you we're working on 3D shapes. So this does look like a circle, but what if it were a circle that wasn't flat, but it was fat like a ball that you could hold? What shape is that? It's a sphere. Can you say sphere? Can you find all the spheres? They look like balls. Can you find them? There's a basketball, nice, and a soccer ball. There's a tennis ball. Very good. Can you find one more? There it is, the orange. The orange is a sphere. Nice job. Let's spin one more time. Okay, what shape is this? It looks like squares on all the sides. It's called a cube. Can you say cube? Let's see if we can find the cubes. Kind of like a dice when you play a game. Where are the cubes? I see one right there. There's a dice. And the present is a cube. And what about the ice cube? Can you see another cube? Looks like this. I'll draw an arrow. How about the block? Good job. And that cool stool is a cube. Very good job. I'll put the link so you can play this game later today. Okay, now I want to talk about our color for today. Our color for today, I picked black because often superheroes wear black capes and black masks, kind of like Batman or Catwoman or Black Panther. Sometimes superheroes have black, so I just was thinking about Batman, so I picked black today. Let's see if we can spell black. B-L-A-C-K spells black. B-L-A-C-K spells black. Flying bats are black. Scary cats are black. Jelly beans are black. I like black. How do you spell black? B-L-A-C-K spells black. B-L-A-C-K spells black. B-L-A-C-K, B-L-A-C-K, B-L-A-C-K spells black. Well, I want to make a superhero. This is Zero, the hero. I'm going to put the link so you can print out the mask, or you can just make a mask. This is just a lunch sack. I glued on the mask. And then I glued on some wiggly eyes. You can just draw the eyes if you don't have wiggly eyes, and a smile. I put Z on the front of him because he's Zero the hero. And on the back, I just took a piece of tissue paper and taped it so that it could really look nice and flowy as he's flying through the air. This is Zero the hero. Now, I want to talk about this cape for just a minute. When Zero, the hero, is flying through the sky, the air goes straight across his cape, and so the cape actually helps him to fly faster. But sometimes we don't want to go faster. Sometimes we want to slow down. And so let me show you how to make a parachute today, and then I'm going to tell you how a parachute works or what it does. For this, you're going to need some tissue paper, just like what we used for the Zero the Hero's cape. Tissue paper is the stuff that you can use to wrap presents. It's really thin and light. I'm going to give you some alternatives though. If you don't have tissue paper, I'll give you some other ideas that you can do. Okay, I'm putting mine on a clipboard. If you're doing one too, you might want to do that. It just helps for it to stay still while you're working with it. So but first of all, what shape is this? What shape is this? It's flat, so it's a square. How many corners does a square have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first thing you're going to do is put a piece of tape in all 4 corners. The tape is just going to help it not to tear, because after you get the tape in all 4 corners, you're going to punch holes in those corners. Punch right on top of the tape. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so when you get all 4 corners punched, the next thing you're going to do is take some yarn. Now yesterday we talked about yarn, and yarn is, I use like a thin yarn, like an embroidery yarn for mine. So what you're going to do is you're going to tie in all the 4 corners, take 4 pieces of yarn, and you're going to tie them in all 4 corners of the square that you cut out. You can get some help tying, and maybe even tape it if you have trouble getting it tied. So then I decided that I would take a little Lego man and tape him to the bottom of the strings. Let me show you his face. He looks pretty happy right now, but guess what? I'm going to turn his face around because we're going to drop him from high in the sky. So that's really probably what his face might look like. Ah! So let me tell you something that's going to happen. First, before I do, I want to see if you'll do me a favor. Will you jump up as high as you can to the sky? And I want you to decide and tell me, did you keep floating? Did your head hit the ceiling? Did you keep on going up to the sky? Try it and see what happens. So jump up as high as you can. Did you keep going? Or did you come back down? You came back down. Do it one more time. Jump high. Did you keep floating up, up, up? No, you came back down. That's because of something that's invisible. It's an invisible force. Now, on Monday, we talked about box, X is for box, and we used a box to talk about the forces push and pull. Well, there's an invisible force that's pulling down on us all the time. It's called gravity. Can you say gravity? Gravity, it's an invisible force that's pulling us down. So if I drop my little guy here from the sky, he's not going to float away. If I throw him up, he's not going to float away. He'll fall back down because there's gravity pulling him back down. It's an invisible force that's pulling us all. So we don't want him to fall that fast. So we don't want him to break. So what we're going to do is add a parachute. And here's what the parachute does. The parachute adds some resistance to the gravity that's pulling him down. The air gets in the parachute and it just gives a resistance. So as he's being pulled, there's just some resistance against that pull and it makes him go not as fast. He can float down gently. Okay, so let's give a countdown and let's see if our parachute guy can float down. 3, 2, 1. Whoa, there he went. Let's try it one more time, okay? Count me down. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, that was so fun. Now, if you don't have tissue paper, here's a great idea. I just took a bag and you can tie a friend on it, or you don't have to. You can tie your Lego man or something else, or you can just leave it like this. This makes a great example of what we're talking about. The bag can let the air inside, and so it can offer some resistance to the bag just falling straight down. Okay, I hope you have fun making a parachute today. We learned a little science, gravity. All right. Okay, so now I have one more thing. Before we say goodbye, I want to read a story for you. And the story is about Zero. It's called Zero is the Leaves on the Tree. Let me share my screen so you can see it too. This book is by Betsy Franco. Zero is the shape of an egg. Zero is a number. Zero is the balls in the bin at recess time. 0 balls. Zero is the leaves on the bare brown arms of the oak tree. 0 leaves. Zero is the ducks on the pond when the air says winter is coming. 0 ducks. Zero is the sound of snowflakes landing on your mitten. 0 sounds. Zero is the sled on the hillside when the snow turns to slush. 0 sleds. And look at the snowman, he's melting away. 0 is the kites in the sky once the wind stops blowing. 0 wind and 0 kites. 0 is the blossoms in the garden just before the buds open. 0 blossoms. 0 is the bikes in the bike rack on the last day of school. Goodbye. 0 bikes. 0 is the ripples in the pool before the first swimmer jumps in. Splash. Now there are lots of ripples. 0 is the footprints on the beach when the waves come in and in and in and wash away the footprints. 0 footprints. And 0 is the sound of stars filling the night. So 0 can be a pretty important number, right? 0 can be a hero. I hope you had fun today, and I will see you next time for our circle time. Goodbye.